G'day and welcome. So this is the Black Shark 3. I'm just going to take you on a training flight with me. We're going to try and cold and dark start, use the cannon and also the missiles. This module is probably the one that I've least played. I didn't start playing DCS until after this module came out. And so yeah, we're going to have a go at learning this module and I'll take you along with me. Let's go and jump in the cockpit. So I'm going to go over to here. I'm going to do things a little bit differently, but I'm going over to here where it says INU. I'm going to right click this and INU heat on, right click that. Over here L140 where it's the red button and it says off below it, I'm going to right click that. Then we're going to go down to here where it says Ekran, hide, trans power. Now this one I'm going to left click and the switch goes down and then that's done. Up the top here there's OPER, right click that and then right click that again. And then over here we've got battery, so right click to open the lid and then right click on the button. And then we've got electrics, we've got LH and R, right H, so just right click on LH and right H for AC sysgen. Then we've got fuel pump, FWD and AFT, forward and after, right click. Then we've got fuel quantity, so we're going to right click on that one. Then we've got fuel shut off, right click to open the cover and right click to turn that on. APU is the important one, so right click for that lid and right click again. Then we are going over to here where it says IFF and then right click and then nav and then right click. Then we're going all the way over to here to EEG, right click and then right click. And then we've got over here all of this lighting. I'm not going to worry about this lighting, but that's all lighting. And then we're going to go over to standby SAI on. I'm going to right click that one, and anti-collision beacon, I'll turn that one on. So we'll right click on that. So then weapon systems, W-SYS, I'm going to right click this. This is an important one because I want to use the missiles and guns. So we're going to right click that again. Then we've got eject system, seat system. So we're going to right click. And then we've got through here all radios. So I'm just going to turn all of those on with a right mouse button. And then we can go over to here. So we've got two yellow levers. To move this up, we're going to use the page up button and we're tapping it twice. So page up once and page up twice. If you do it 3 times, it looks like that. And that's not what we want it to look like. If you have got it into that situation, push page down and then it brings it back to here. So just page up twice. Over here is a black button. Left click that once for the rotor and it pushes it down. That's just the left mouse button. And then we're going all the way up to here. Now I just want to make sure that I've got the APU information in screen here, and then all the way up here where it says start, we're going to be clicking the little white button just below that. So we're holding down the left mouse button on it and then counting to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4 and then 5, and then you can let go and you'll notice this little green light will come on and this will also start spinning around, which is good. While we're waiting, we can go all the way up to here and close the door. Left click once. And we'll go back down to here. We've got KA-50, so right click on that once. And that is for the KA-50 targeting navigation system power switch. And this one LAS. So we're going to right click on this one, laser standby on off switch. Right click on that. Great, so our APU is on. This doesn't actually take very long. So now we're going to start the engine. So over here is a little APU button. We're going to left click this once. And it flicks it to the left, and then we're going to hold down the start button here. So hold down the start button, 1, 2 and 3, and you'll see here a little green light comes on. As soon as that comes on, let go. It says start VLV, so as soon as that comes on you can let go. And then we've got over here to cut off engines, so I'm going to left click here on the left engine. And then we go over to here and we can see this little lever is at the number 2, and then it's going to keep going all the way around. Now we can't start the right engine until this light goes out. We can go over to here where it says ABRIS, right click on that and that turns that on. And then we can also go up to here where it says master arm. I'm going to right click on that. I'm going to change this little switch here to manual, right click, and then all 3 of these are down. So LNG on short, HE on API with the left mouse button, and this one is on high, so we don't have to touch that one. Now just one thing, I'm noticing sometimes this screen doesn't come on, and down here, if you do have that situation, you will notice that you've got a brightness control. So if you just find this is just completely black, and you're hitting the letter O on the keyboard to turn it on, O is the button to turn this on, but if it still doesn't turn on, come down to here where it says BRT, use the mouse wheel and turn this around, and you'll notice suddenly it appears. So if I turn it all the way down, see how it goes black, and then turn it all the way to the right and it comes on. So that's just something I've noticed. Alright, cool. So we're going to start the other engine. So what I'm going to do is going to go over here and left click once, just below turbo gear, left click once, and it goes to the RH, right engine. And then we're going to click on the start button. So hold down the left on the start until you get start VLV. And then we're going to go over to here and left click on the red button for right engine cutoff valve. And that goes up, and then that's all good. So if we can then see over here, it's going to go around. And it's going around. So that's all good. Just up here is an interesting switch, the nav lights. So left click on 10%, left click on 30, and then left click on 100%. That gives us something to do. And then we're mostly started up. So I said to you that we could hit the letter O on the keyboard. I'll do that just once this is on. The other things to mention are onboard rockets. So we've got missiles on the outside and cannons on the inner. So on the keyboard, there's 3 letters. There's U, which means all of them. So you can hit U, or you can hit Y on the keyboard, which is just the outside, in this case the missiles, or you can use I on the keyboard, which is just the cannons, which is on the inner. So that's just something else which is interesting too. We'll try that. And one other button, there's only a single button that I've got in my controls of this helicopter, and that's this one. Gun select trigger position, gun --RKT. So just if you need that, just be aware of the gun select trigger position. And what that does is it moves a little lever on the joystick at the back here. It moves it around. So I have found though, if you just push C on the keyboard, it moves it around as well. So I push C, it flicks up, and then I can use the cannon, push C again, and it goes down. Okay, so just something else to be aware of. And this screen, I said O on the keyboard, so if I push O on the keyboard, you see it comes up, and so that's what I've worked out for that. Okay, so we can go fly. We've got a couple of targets near us. We've got a Kiowa and we've got a Apache, but we're going to use as targets. So we'll go and get ourselves ready for flight. But I think that's enough for us to be able to have a go. Master arms on manual. And we've got this on down here, the KA-041. So most things are okay. One thing we could do is we could turn the APU off. So we go over to here where it says APU shut off. Hold down the left mouse button. Stop APU. And you can see the APU is going down. And then over here, we've got the APU button. We can left click that once and then close the lid. And so now the APU should be mostly off. Anyway, we've done all that. We'll try and get ourselves into the sky. Let's see how we go. So used to using the left rudder, which isn't really necessary with this helicopter, but there we go, we're up into the sky. So we'll try and do a test shot just to see if we've got our cannons on. Yep, we've got our cannons. So we're all set up to use our cannons straight away with what we just did. We'll do it all flight out this way, then spin around and then come in and we'll try and use a cannon on that Kiowa. G on the keyboard to bring our gear in. We'll try and line ourselves up with the Kiowa, which is a little bit difficult. And then we'll try and put some bullets down on the ground. We've hit it. We can come through again. We'll try once more. Okay, so then we want to try and use the missiles. So we go down to here, and if we push U on the keyboard, it's all, and then we hit Y on the keyboard, it's the outer, and I on the keyboard is inner. So we want I for the inner because that's what it is. The cannons are on the inner. So we've hit I for the inner, and we'll notice we've still got C at the top there. So if I bring up my joystick and I go and tap C, it flicks the switch up, and then I hit the C on the keyboard again, and it flicks the switch down. So that's in the right position. We want it in the down position as far as I understand. So we'll just do a test shot, and we'll just fire at something on the ground. Nope. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll tap C again, and fire, and nope. Okay, so we're going to now use that button that I was talking about before, the gun trigger button. So we're going to try and use that gun trigger button. And then I on the keyboard is not clickable. Just wondered if there's anything else we might need to change. Let's go have a look. We've got it on manual, short, API and high. We've selected the inboard, which is the cannon. Oh, so we've already used the cannon. That's what the problem is. So we want to use the outboard, which is Y. So Y is what we're wanting, because that's what we're wanting the missiles now, not the cannon. Cool. So now we can fire the cannon. Yeah, and we've got our rockets. Too easy. Okay, so we can come through to here. And then fire rockets. We just damaged it, but not much else. So let's try and finish them off with these rockets. So I is the outboard, and then Y is the inboard, and then U is for all. So say you had 4 cannons, so you're just tapping U, basically, and you can just fire all 4 cannons at once. I presume it's the same for missiles. If you had missiles on all 4 hard points, then you could just fire all 4 at once after tapping U. So yeah. I think we've got to head over this way. We'll go down the runway a bit further. Okay, let's give this a go. Put a few hits into the ground now. And then 24 remaining, and then you can increase it if you want to fire, I think, 16 at once. Depending on what you had it loaded. And then we've got 14 left. Well, we may as well use them because they're just a practice. And we've got 10 left. Okay, give myself a better view. And we're out of that one. Alright, so then we just swap it to the other one. And we're pushing I on the keyboard for that. So that should give me back my cannons. Yep, we've got my cannons on. So just tapping Y, U and I. Plus that gun trigger button. And that's really all there is to swapping between them. We set that one on fire. And we can go back and land. So let's finish off these bullets. Okay, we're out of bullets, and then we'll come back and land. And we'll put our gear out because we don't want to forget that. Yep. And I may not land here. We might try and land in a bit of a stationary spot up near where we took off. But we could land rolling along if we wanted to. But I'll try and not do that. Just got to get over this little bit of sand on the side. And there we go, we're back on the ground. And I think you can move along the ground a little bit. Awesome, so now let's see if we can shut it down. Which is a complete opposite of what we've been doing. So taking that throttle all the way back. going to undo those two. And then we'll try and open the door. Yep, there's the door open. And we can turn our batteries off. That should be a very quick shutdown, I hope. We'll see if the rotor blades stop. But yeah, I think that's a quick shut way. Very cool little module. So okay, we've pretty much been able to cold and dark start it, use the rockets and also the guns, and there's heaps more to learn. Thanks for coming on this train flight with me. I tried to explain what I'm doing rather than just play. And yeah, seems very, very cool, quite capable little helicopter. Need to play it more. Looks very cool. Have a great day, and thank you for watching.